in the country. Some of them who have been speaking to City TV say the high cost of fuel is having a negative impact on their finances. Fuel prices have increased for more than 3 times this year following the implementation of the price deregulation policy. Nanoye Ankra has more in this following report.
Fuel prices went up marginally ago following the second pricing window in August. This government says is as a result of the increase in the cost of crude oil on the world market, and hence it cannot do much to solve the problem. Depending on the filling station you visit, you will buy a liter of petrol between a consumer who uses, for instance, a 1.8-liter Toyota Corolla would have to buy about 50 liters, which will cost close to 250 cedis in order to fill his tank. Also, a consumer who uses a bigger vehicle, 2.4-liter.
At first, I used to fill my tank with 16 liters, a Koba 17 liters, but now you need to buy almost 20-25 before you can do something. Even that one cannot even take you for 3 days.
It's first fuel that if you buy fuel like 50 cedis, you can work about 150, but now when you buy 50 cedis, you work less than 150, so it affects us a lot.
It's really putting stress on our pocket because you don't expect nowadays to. One thing about the fuel increment is that you don't get any information about it. You get to the filling station before you are being told the fuel has been increased. So it's like you are not budgeted for that amount, but you are being forced to.
First, petrol no boy din. Utobe 50 so the adwuma be 100, but 100 no. Utobe 50 100 no anya onyame amwa wontimi nya. Petrol ni nyina besa. Eso utobi kan wansa na wetimi anya say 100 no.
Israel is an international driver who shuttles between Ghana and Nigeria, driving business people who operate in the two countries. He thinks government can...
Even when some of my friends came to Nigeria, say they have increased their fuel. I say, increase their fuel. It's not, they say it lasts 5 years now. The guy increased the fuel price. The time that even when I change our president, the fuel still remains the same price. That's what they're selling now. It's 4,500. 4,500, that's 5 cedis, 40 pesos for per liter. Yeah, that's what I'm selling till today.
Government has consistently announced that they cannot do much about the cost of fuel because it's a global issue. However, consumers here in Ghana complain that the prices are too high and is having a toll on their living conditions. For City News, I am Nanoye Ankra.
Well, moving on, shipping lines are cautioning of a massive drop in government's revenue for the rest of the year if the row over the implementation of the cargo tracking note (CTN) is not resolved. The shippers complain of a drop in cargo, which is affecting their operations. City Business News has been engaging the Ghana Shippers Association over the matter, and here is a News Desk report.
The tussle over the implementation of the cargo tracking note (CTN) has the GRA on one side and the section of freight forwarders on the other. While the former insists that the system will address under declaration and under valuation by freight forwarders, the latter argues that the policy is a disincentive to trade facilitation. But the executive member of the Ship Owners and Agents Association, Adam Imoro Ayana, explains that the policy has since faced lower compliance, which has impacted the volumes of goods transported.
And if that becomes the case, it could affect even routing into Ghana. So, for instance, if your threshold into Ghana is about maybe 1,000 boxes or 300 boxes, and you get something like a 50, at some point in time, maybe the beginning you might come, but at some point in time, if it continues, you might like to hold back and consolidate more cargo to come in.
The shipping lines their members will duly comply so as not to jeopardize the processes at the ports.
That deadline that the government has given to us, that if we load, we will be penalized. That is when we will start refusing cargo. But the refusing is underlined. It's not that we will refuse. It's the rules of the game in Ghana, the laws. Because the documents we have says that if we bring any cargo into Ghana without a CTN number, we will be penalized. We don't know what the penalization is also. So we are not going to even try it.
The freight forwarders are anticipating a strike action on Monday to register their displeasure.
Now, still on the subject of shipping, Ghana's maritime imports continue to be dominated by commodities like cars, meat, second-hand clothing, among others. Figures from the Ghana Shippers Authority show that the total volume of maritime import for the first 6 months of this year reached 7.15 million metric tons. This is up compared to the 6.75 million metric tons recorded for the same period last year. The Shippers Authority says it is working to increase the country's transshipment by at least 10% at the end of this year.
China goods such as meat, cars, paper products, among others, amounted to 2.92 million metric tons compared to the 2.53 million metric tons recorded in the same period last year. Again, Ghana imported 1.7 million metric tons of dry bulk commodities like clinker, bulk wheat, bulk fertilizer for the 6 months period. This is followed by the imports of liquid bulk such as crude oil and break bulk such as bagged rice, bagged grains, bagged sugar, which recorded 1.65 million and 863,000 metric tons respectively. The country is expected to be sustained till the
2017. The first half of 2018 has witnessed another increase in maritime trade performance, in line with expected world economic output %.
The Far East and other African countries emerged as the top source of Ghana's import. They accounted for 27 and 25% of all maritime import for the period. The least of 1% was from the UK. Meanwhile, between January and June this year, demurrage, which refers to the charges borne by importers for excessive delay of their goods at the port, reduced. For the first 6 months of 2018, total demurrages amounted to $28.5 million from the $38.4 million for the same period last year. This represents a drop of about 26%.
Unfortunately, rent payments in the Tema and Takoradi ports recorded a rise in the first half of 2018. Total rent payments in the first half of 2018 amounted to 22.699 million Ghana cedis, representing an increase of 11.9% compared to the same period in 2017, which was 20.29 million Ghana cedis. There is therefore the need for increased shipper education and sensitization in the area of non-containerized cargo, such as unpacked vehicles and other general cargo, to bring down the rent figures.
In addition, the shipping lines are hopeful of the prospect of the paperless port systems, which has facilitated the clearing process at the port. Madam Benonita Bismarck believes shippers will continue to take advantage of the system to fast-track their activities.
As Shippers Authority, we believe that the system has brought some relief to shippers, and we will continue to educate and sensitize our shippers on the need to operate within the framework of the system and report any challenges encountered in the usage of the system to ensure that they are addressed expeditiously.
You're still watching the Business Dashboard on City TV. We take a breather here. When we return, you may want to reconsider options for your transport service as Uber drivers embark on a strike next month.
It's engaging, detailed, and loaded with factual and incisive analysis. It's The Big Issue, your preferred Saturday morning news and current affairs analysis program on City TV. Tune in this and every Saturday at 9 a.m. and hear the newsmakers discuss the top issues for the week.
At that time, Charlotte was complete. I'm not defending Charlotte. I'm talking about the way we behave like hypocrites and ostriches in this country. At that time, she was a perfect person.
It's The Big Issue with Stella Madonu on City TV.
Live music, interviews, poetry, or with your favorite personalities. Be our guest on Saturdays from 2 to 4 p.m. for the most exciting moments on TV. Join Kojo Akoto Boateng for real entertainment right in your living room. Saturday Live on City TV and City 97.3 FM.
You're welcome back to the Business Dashboard on City TV. I am Bobi Osei. Let's bring you some more local business stories. Now, the spare parts business is a major component of Ghana's automobile industry. Vendors of vehicle spare parts are, however, still reeling under issues of a depreciating cedi, as well as trade facilitation constraint, which they fear could collapse the industry if nothing is done to resolve them. So what is the current state of Ghana's spare parts industry, and what are players in the industry demanding from government? My colleague Anita Arthur has been finding out in the following report.
Perhaps the biggest challenge for a car owner is the maintenance of his or her car. But getting the right spare parts when one's car is faulty is most daring. Aboso Okai is the hub of spare parts in Accra. For over 40 years, it has been the first point of call for many drivers, mechanics, and car dealers in accessing the right spare parts for their cars. Clemens Boateng is the acting chairman of the Aboso Okai Spare Parts Dealers Association.
Spare parts is a commodity that we don't manufacture in Ghana here, so we use foreign exchange in purchasing it, and we travel all over the world, to make our purchases. It used to be a very lucrative business, yes, for the past 10-15 years back. It used to be very lucrative, but for now, I would say it's no more a lucrative business because, like I told you, if we look at the overhead costs currently, I would say our profit margin has dwindled. And also, if we look at the exchange rate currently, or for the last 5 years, how our city has fared with regards to the major foreign currency, I would say profits that we started somewhere July last year. So from July last year coming, we are no more paying the import duty on spare parts, and that has taken at least a little bit of the taxes.
Almost about 80% or about 95% of the shops in Aboso Okai deals in Toyota, Nissan, Korea cars. So we dealing in American cars, we are just few. It's also very difficult to get those parts. So that the added advantage that we kind of enjoy.
His main though is the inability of spare part dealers in Ghana to order their goods online due to past cases of fraud. But for these customers, the consistent increase in prices continues to be a worry.
I came to Aboso Okai this afternoon to buy a spare part for my car, specifically brake pad. Remember the first time I started buying, I bought this very one was 50 cedis, and then it kept increasing. I remember the other time too I came, I bought both the front and the back 250 cedis. But this one I bought only the front at 220 Ghana cedis.
Some parts are very scarce in Ghana.
So when somebody gets it, maybe he will use that advantage to give you a higher price, but sometimes you can bring it down.
The spare parts business is one that has provided, and players in the industry are looking up to governments to help them address some of the major challenges they face, which they hope will help them increase their profits margin and also reduce the prices of goods they sell. Reporting from Abosoka here in Accra, I am Anita Arthur for City News.
We're still staying within the transport sector. Uber drivers in the country have served notice of embarking on a strike next month to protest what they say is the failure by management of the company to review upwards prices charged customers. The drivers in a petition delivered to the company complain about ill treatment by management. They claim although fuel prices are high, charges for customers are still the same, and in most cases, Uber gives discounts to the customers, reducing further money that goes to the drivers. My colleague Nanoye Ankra has been speaking to some of the agitated drivers and now reports.
The aggrieved drivers, numbering over 2,000, are not happy Uber Ghana has not done much to address after the first two strike actions. They therefore petitioned the company on Thursday, asking management to, as a matter of urgency, revise their requirements.
Has increased more than necessary as expected. In a year, more than 3 times. And so we were expecting Uber to increase the fare a little bit, and it has been stable since they started the business with us. So we think this is also unfair. And it's about time they take a look at that, because that's where we get the money from. And we buy the food at expense cost, but we are still taking the small money the riders are paying. The other aspect is the discount. You know, the discount is good. Every company do discount as a form of promotion to its people. But the discount goes in a way where we, the drivers, are affected. Because, for example, I pick you from Accra Mall to East Legon, probably it's 10 cedis. But the company tells me after the ride, after the trip, that the 10 cedis is free because you're on a discount of 10 cedis. How can this be possible? How will I make money if I take 10 people and 5 or 6 of them are on discount of such? How do I make money? So we think the discount is unfair. If you want to do a discount to your customers, it should not be in effect. It should not affect me, the driver, because I'm providing the services for which you are doing the discount for.
Uber has been operating in the country for the past 2 years. Their entrance into the country's transport sector has been met with apprehension from conventional transport operators who claim their business will collapse. The Uber drivers for giving the company a week ultimatum to solve the problem.
The police have replied to us, and then they are also waiting for arbitration. But we are now seeing that even the police is ready to help us on this peaceful demonstration. We are not going to destroy anything. We are not going to vandalize any item. We are just going to do peace demonstration on street.
All efforts to get the company to respond to the issue have proved futile. For City News, I am Nanoye Ankra.
Well, let's focus now on Ghana's economy. And economist Dr. Lord Mensah has backed calls seeking that Ghana's $2 billion bauxite agreement with China be classified as a loan. His view follows the minority in Parliament's move to petition the International Monetary Fund, IMF, to decide whether the $2 billion Chinese deal, well, agreed by the government in exchange for bauxite, will add to the country's debt. Under the deal, approved by Parliament last month, China's Sino-Hydro Corp Limited will provide $2 billion for government's road projects in exchange for refined bauxite exports. But Dr. Lord Mensah insists that looking at the agreement as a debt will enable the country assess.
As far as this money is concerned, the $2 billion, then we have to classify it as debt. Other than that, we might not have any obligation towards it. So for me, if you ask me, the categorization, whether we are exchanging it for debt, for bauxite or not, we should look at it as a debt. And looking at it as a debt comes with some obligations. So therefore, the monies that are coming to us will be used purposefully. Other than that, if we look at it as more or less, a package that is coming in exchange of our natural resource, then we might not, put enough responsibility on this money that is coming to us.
So farmers in the country are advocating a policy that will ensure government institutions purchase local produce to grow the agricultural subsector. The farmers argue that government only pays attention to their production and not its sustenance. The farmers also argue that government often awards contracts to companies that import produce at the expense of those supplying produce locally. Now, manager in charge of retail at Farmers Markets, Bernard Amponsa, says government must look at the entire value chain to ensure the sustainability of farmers. Mr. Amponsa spoke to City Business News during the opening of the Farmers Market branch at East Legon.
What government can do is to look at the entire agricultural chain. And so governments typically normally focus only on production. And so, for instance, when there are no jobs for the youth, we tell the youth to go into agriculture. We need to understand how things work. As a young person, if I take a loan and I go to produce tomatoes, for instance, and in 3 months' time my tomatoes is ready and there's no place to sell it, there's no market to sell it, how do I pay for my loans? And so marketing is key in agriculture. We need to find ways to ensure that there's no wastage, that whatever is produced is bought or is processed. And so one of the first things government can do is to make a policy that government institutions buy everything produced locally to feed schools, to feed prisons, so that there's a volume of things that farmers can sell to make their business viable. Farmers are not Father Christmases. When they produce, they have to sell to make money. And if they don't get market to sell the produce, how do they make money? And so these are the things that government can start taking a look at.
You're still watching the Business Dashboard on City TV. When we get back, we'll give you the latest update in business on the international front. Do stay with us.
Wherever the weekend sporting action happened, we will bring it to you here on Scorecard. Every goal, every dunk, every punch, the winning strides, and the winning volleys.
Come, international media, he said, look, wait, sit and wait. Let me have a meal with my people. And I think that's the same cool, it's the same organization he brings to the field every time I've seen him play. He looks to me like somebody who has played over 50 caps already. Okay. But this guy has barely played over 25 caps for the national team.
All of the weekend's action in one place. Scorecard, every Sunday at 7:30 p.m. prompt on City TV.
Hello, it's good to have you back on the Business Dashboard on City TV. Let's bring you some business news on the international front. Now, Tunisia's state airline Tunis Air wants to lay off 1,200 workers to ease financial difficulties which have led to flight delays and the grounding of aircraft. The move, according to the CEO Elias Mankabi, is also due to lack of spare parts. Tunis Air, which has a fleet of 30 aircrafts and employs 8,000 staff, is part of a bloated public service, which the government has failed to trim due to resistance from labor unions. Elias Mankabi also said Tunis Air is suffering from major financial difficulties because of the high number of workers and the wage bill of the company. The company has been suffering losses since the ousting into frustration on social media about delays, which the CEO blamed on a shortage of aircraft. Some Tunisian lawmakers have demanded a sale of the firm instead. Now, China says it will continue to hit back again, responded in kind. 2 days of trade talks in Washington between the two sides failed to make any major progress. The escalating trade row between the U.S. and China has now seen each side impose 25% tariffs on a total of $50 billion of one another's goods. The U.S. has threatened a third round of tariffs on an additional $200 billion worth of Chinese goods, which could come as soon as next month. President Trump has also said he could slap tariffs on all $500 billion of import from China. Well, that's all by way of news on Business Dashboard for today. For more stories, do visit citybusinessnews.com. Well, my name is Bobiose. Many thanks for your time. We'll come your way Monday with more stories from the world of business on the Business Dashboard. Do enjoy City TV.